The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there's any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung. Every man has a hidden place, not in his heart, not in his mind, but in his ego. Touch it the right way, and he won't just see you, he'll crave you in ways he can't explain. This is what Carl Jung was pointing to when he spoke of the deeper layers of the human psyche, the unseen structures that hold our desires, fears, and unspoken needs. A man's ego is more than pride. It's the seat of his identity, the place where he feels his worth and significance. When you learn to connect with this part of him, you're not playing games, you're speaking directly to his inner world. In that space, attraction becomes something far more powerful than fleeting chemistry. It becomes a magnetic bond that draws him closer, not because you demand it, but because he feels elevated in your presence. Jung believed that true connection transforms both people, and when you awaken this side of a man, you step into the rare territory where respect, desire, and emotional pull merge into something lasting. Today, we're going to talk about how to touch a man's ego with intelligence and grace, not to diminish it, but to make him see you as the woman he can't imagine losing. To understand how to touch a man's ego in a way that draws him closer, you first need to see it for what it truly is. A man's ego is not born fully formed, it is shaped slowly from the earliest days of his childhood to the defining experiences of his adulthood. In those early years, every word of approval, every moment of recognition, every chance to prove himself plants a seed in his sense of self. As he grows, these seeds form the foundation of how he perceives his worth. Some are nurtured by encouragement and healthy challenge. Others may be warped by neglect, harsh criticism, or the constant need to prove his value. By the time he reaches adulthood, his ego is not just a bundle of pride, it's the fragile yet vital container that holds his identity together. In Jungian terms, it is the center of consciousness, the point from which he navigates the world. And in the deeper layers of the male psyche, there exists a powerful archetype, the king. This king is not about arrogance or domination. It is the part of a man that wants to lead his life with purpose, protect what matters to him, and feel respected for the role he plays. When a man feels that his inner king is recognized, he rises to meet that image. But when this archetype is ignored or diminished, he can feel unseen, powerless, or disconnected from his own masculinity. This is why it's important to understand that the ego is not always the enemy. There is a difference between feeding it in a healthy way and inflating it recklessly. Healthy affirmation strengthens his confidence and inspires him to be better, while blind flattery or constant indulgence can make him entitled and stagnant. The key is balance, acknowledging his strengths without losing your own center. And here is where your words, your tone, even the way you look at him can have an impact far beyond what you might imagine. A single genuine moment of recognition. I noticed how you handled that. I admire the way you think through problems. I trust your judgment. Can light a fire inside him, awakening the part of his ego that wants to live up to that trust. These are not empty compliments. They are mirrors reflecting back to him the best version of himself. Jung understood that when we see someone's potential and reflect it back to them, we invite them to step into that image. For a man, that can be deeply magnetic. When his ego feels seen in this way, he doesn't just feel good. He feels connected, valued, and motivated to keep that bond alive. And once you learn to understand and respect the architecture of his ego, you will find that attraction becomes more than chemistry. It becomes a quiet, unshakable pull that keeps him coming back to the place where he feels most like himself, with you. If understanding a man's ego is the foundation, then knowing how to touch it skillfully is the art. The first and perhaps most overlooked tool is intelligent praise. Most women are told to compliment him, but not all compliments carry the same weight. Telling a man you're smart can be nice, but it's vague. It doesn't stick. Praising his actions, his decisions, or the way he navigated a challenge goes deeper. I love how you solved that problem. Or, the way you handled that conversation was impressive. These moments of specific recognition tell him you're paying attention to who he is in motion, not just what he appears to be. From there, practice measured emotional reliance. A man's ego thrives when he knows he adds something valuable to your life, yet paradoxically, he is more drawn to a woman whose entire life doesn't orbit around him. This means showing him that you appreciate and even seek his input or support. I'd love your take on this, while still radiating a sense of independence and self-direction. It's a balance that makes him feel needed without feeling burdened. Then comes gentle challenge. Many women fear that challenging a man will push him away, but in reality, a subtle challenge can be magnetic. When a man has to invest effort to win your trust, to impress you, to deepen the connection, his ego engages, and with it, his attraction. The key is to challenge without belittling, to inspire without provoking defensiveness. Another powerful approach is public recognition. Men rarely forget the woman who made them look and feel like a king in front of others. Whether it's acknowledging his achievements in a group setting or simply expressing gratitude for something he did while others are listening, you place him in a position of honor, and because the moment is public, the impact is magnified. Lastly, perhaps the most crucial element, protecting your own value. No matter how much a man's ego responds to your affirmation, it will respond even more to your self-respect. A man's admiration deepens when he senses that you have boundaries, that you won't accept less than you deserve, and that you hold yourself to the same standard you hold others. Jung would argue that this dynamic works because it activates a mutual recognition. You see the best in him, and he sees the best in you. When you blend these elements, specific praise, balanced reliance, gentle challenge, public acknowledgement, and unwavering self-worth, you create a rare psychological space. In that space, his ego doesn't just feel inflated, it feels anchored. And when a man feels anchored in your presence, you're no longer just someone he's attracted to. You become the presence he seeks, the standard he measures others against, and the connection he will quietly, relentlessly crave. In the end, touching a man's ego is not a game of manipulation, but an art of truly communicating with the core of his psyche, a way that helps him see the best version of himself beside you. It's a delicate dance of respect and understanding that goes beyond surface attraction and shallow praise. When you connect with his inner world in this way, you invite transformation, not just in him, but in the connection between you. As Carl Jung said, if there is any reaction, both are transformed. If you want a man to crave you deeply, be the change that awakens the man he aspires to be, while standing strong in your own worth and boundaries. Now, I encourage you to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. How have you touched the ego of someone important to you? What impact did it have on your relationship? Your story might be the light that guides someone else on their journey.